This is a good mid to late 19th century mahogany campaign chest. Fairly standard design, but a nice example. 2 short drawers over 3 long drawers. Top long drawer is much deeper than the other two. You've got good brass flush handles and strap work with a gilt lacquer to it. Veranda escutcheons stand out a little bit, might point to a maker such as Day and Sons, but there's not enough proof to be conclusive on that. Of course, the Irish makers use those round escutcheons, but this is not an Irish chest. This is an English chest. You've got a nice cock bead line cut into the edge of the drawers just to lift them. All very nice, all very standard. Nothing there too unusual. But it does have one point which does make it stand out a little bit from most similar campaign chests. If we move it out a little bit. Now normally if I do this on a campaign chest, the top section at that point would lift off the bottom section, not on this one. We'll come back to that in a minute. As you'll see from these photographs coming up on the screen, most campaign chests like this will be fitted with 4 wooden lugs, as you can see on this photograph. 1 to each corner, and typically the lugs are on the bottom section, although not always. Occasionally you get them to the top section. Sometimes, like this Levy chest on the next photograph, you'll only find 2 lugs, one in the middle of each end to locate them. So a little bit of variation there. Another variation is this SW Silver packing case, which is now coming on the screen, where you've actually got removable lugs. Because of the packing case nature of the chest, you need to be able to remove those lugs for travel, but you also need them to locate the 2 halves together. Now, a 4th variation is on this chest, and as you will have noted from when I tried to separate the 2 parts, they wouldn't move. And the reason for that is because the 2 halves are fixed to each other with bolts. So I think we'll come in a little bit and have a closer look at that. Hopefully you can see these thumb bolt heads here, and you have got 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they fit through brass plates to the top there, and a brass plate to the bottom, and they provide a very secure fitting to the 2 sections. So when it's bolted together, the benefit of having these is that the 2 parts are never going to be separated. Whereas with lugs, if you knock into it by mistake or whatever, you might have a little bit of movement. Not a lot, but this really is Victorian belts and braces, a really good, strong fixing. Now, because of these bolt heads sitting proud, the cabinet maker had to take that into account with the underside of the drawer. And if we look underneath here, you can see there is a gap there, and you've got the lip of the front of the drawer edge, and the gap so the drawer's not quite as deep, perhaps an inch or so, just to allow it to run past these bolt heads. Right, so with the bolts removed, let's separate the 2 halves and show you the top of the bottom. So we'll just slide the bottom section out a little bit, and then we can turn the top on the carcass. Now, there you go. You can see you've got a brass nut plate there, which will receive the bolt just to lock it. Now, when we bought this chest, these bolts were missing, so we've replaced them. But what's curious is that it's got two lug holes, and they certainly look like they've been there a long time. So perhaps the bolts were lost at some stage and the lug holes were added, or perhaps it had a removable lug just to locate the two halves together so that you could then line up the bolts nice and easily and fix them. You don't really need the lug to do that. It's quite simple to line them up. But again, Victorian belt and braces, that's a possibility. So, there we have it. A good English mahogany, fairly standard design campaign chest, but it stands out for the two halves joined together on 4 bolts. Now, it's not the first one that we've had that's done that. We've had chests by Lowndes of Haymarket before, which have had bolts. Typically, they only have 2 bolts, but we have seen 4 bolts before. And 1 or 2 other unknown makers also did similar things. So it's uncommon. I wouldn't say it's rare. And this is the only example, far from it. It's uncommon, but it's actually is quite nice. It's a nice little difference when you see it. And certainly for modern use, if you're going to put your campaign chest in position and you want a good firm fixing of the two halves together, having a bolt is an added benefit to it. So this is an English campaign chest, mid to late 19th century, made of mahogany, and interesting for the fact that it uses 4 bolts to fit the 2 sections together.